Greetings, my friend. Welcome to the next episode of Red Delta Project Podcast, helping you maximize your results with minimalist approaches to diet and exercise. My name is Matt Schifferly, founder of the Red Delta Project, author of several books that sponsor these episodes, like Grind Style Calisthenics and the soon-to-be released Overcoming Isometrics. I just sent in for the last proof of that. It'll be out in probably the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you posted. And speaking of books, I have a special preview today for some of the information I'm putting in you another book that I'm writing on, of course, my micro workouts, small workouts for big results. And today what we're going to be doing is looking at how you can maximize your benefit from micro workouts and not only make them supremely effective, but maybe even more effective than workouts that cost you twice the time and energy. So micro workouts work for the same reason all workouts work, is because they're placing some sort of a demand on your body that requires the use of muscle tension in one of three applications. I cover these three applications in much more detail in my second book, Smart Bodyweight Training. There's a link down below if you want to learn more about that. But here's the general gist of what these are. So these three things are for either improving functional performance and functional ability, your anabolic response for building muscle, and of course, burning calories and helping you lose body fat. Now, the generation of muscle tension always does all three of these things constantly, no matter what you do and how you do it. But what you were doing with a training stimulus, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do in our workouts, is create a stimulus, is we're trying to emphasize one of those three areas. Let's break these down a little bit more into how you can do that specifically in your micro workouts. So first up, we have the ability to train for a performance goal. And this is any sort of objective, of course, where you want to improve your golf game, how you swing a golf club, how well you bowl, how fast you run, how much weight you lift, whatever it is. Anytime you're thinking, I want to improve my ability to do something, that's a performance goal. And the way we do that is through applying tension in the specific functional demand of that activity. So right off the bat, the first word specific tells us exactly what we need to be doing. So we need to train specifically for that very thing. And this is something that's a little bit lost sometimes on athletes. I've seen way too many martial artists spend eons in the gym building muscle and strength under a heavy barbell, but they still suck at sparring because they don't practice sparring or they don't have a very good stamina in the ring. And it's because the specificity. You can be great at one thing and suck at another. So when you're trying to improve your performance, you want to make sure to practice the very activity you want to be good at. And this is why when you do your workouts of any duration, but especially micro workouts, you want to have your mind focused on improving some functional aspect of the activity. Just having that ability to concentrate on saying, I'm trying to do this thing better in this way, is the key to making the workout more effective for improving your performance. Next up, we have workouts that are geared for anabolic response. We're trying to build some muscle. For this, it's all about time under tension. And time under tension, a lot of misunderstood things about that idea. It's sometimes people are like, so that means you're supposed to work out like slow or a certain way. Not at all. Like all physical activity is time under tension. It simply refers to the fact that you're creating tension for a given amount of time. But when we're trying to build muscle, what we're doing is we're trying to test and progress the muscular capacity of time under tension. So in other words, how much tension is in the muscle and how long can the muscle hold the tension for. So ultimately what this means is you want to use methods that don't necessarily need to be terribly specific as before. The specificity is like in the middle, because as long as you're making that muscle work hard, it doesn't matter why it's working hard. Free weights, machines, cables, lifting rocks, it really doesn't matter. But you do want it specific enough so that the muscle's working hard enough to reach a high state of fatigue within a moderate number of repetitions or a certain amount of time. You don't want to just be able to endlessly do something and your limitation is something like your aerobic capacity or your mental endurance. You want the muscle itself to reach the limits of its functional capacity. And then finally, we have the tension application of increasing caloric expenditure or ice, in other words. And the great thing about this is it's the bottom half of the specificity scale. It doesn't need to be anything special. You don't burn calories because you do a certain type of exercise or exercise in a particular way, no more than you have to drive your car in a particular way or on special roads in order to burn gas. You're always burning calories and fat, and when you're physically active, you're speeding up that process. But you do want to be at least a little bit, not so much specific, but you want to emphasize things that will make you work harder so you can speed things up faster. You can do this through using activities that use more muscle mass. So don't do the crunches, they're hardly burning anything, but something that gets your full body moving is going to burn a lot more. You can work harder, so intensity is going to burn more calories per unit of time. And then of course we also have time itself. The longer you go, the more you burn. Now it's worth mentioning that the specific functional performance, time under tension, and increasing caloric expenditure, these three things are present in any and all forms of activity. I mean, even me moving my arms like this is specific for this type of activity. It's creating some degree of tension in my arms for some amount of time, and it is burning some degree of calories, although probably not very much. So it's impossible to isolate one of those three things at the exclusion of the other two, which is good because you're always going to get all three no matter what. But when you're doing your micro workouts, in order to maximize your benefit, you want to make sure you're going into the workout with an emphasis on one of those three things. Are you going for improving the time under tension of work capacity of a given muscle to try and make it bigger? Are you practicing your ability to do something like a handstand? Or are you just trying to burn some calories and get your metabolic process fired up so you're increasing your energy level and burning off a little bit more stress from the day? Being targeted towards one of these three applications of muscle tension is the secret of why micro workouts can be so effective. Because the more you zero in on how to make that happen, the more you remove a lot of the excess fluff and bloated exercises and stuff that can make your workouts long and boring and tedious and extremely costly. And focusing in on a couple of simple exercises done within a relatively short period of time to satisfy those three objectives is how you can get a lot more from a workout that's a lot quicker. Now you may have a lot of questions on exactly how to do that. In that case, check out the micro workouts playlist right up here for more sample workouts. But next week, I'm going to be giving you specific workout templates for either performance goals, time under tension goals, or calorie expenditure goals. And that way you'll have a little bit more of an idea of what's going into the next book that I'm writing. So thank you very much for watching. Thoughts and questions down below. Be fit, live free.